his 250th birthday weekend, and what better way to celebrate than with a celebration of speed, a festival of speed at the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio.
Drivers, start your engines.
We have the green flag, we have racing as Will Power is almost pushed over onto the grass. Lundgaard defends from his teammate, who looks up the inside as they break down into the right-hander. And look at Rinus VeeKay, already up into 4th place, a magnificent start from him.
Yeah, the Dutch driver being very precise and bold, going to the outside. He picks up P4, Christian Rasmussen in 6th there with Will Power. Kyle Kirkwood in that blue and black car, another American driver up to 9th.
Yeah, side by side heading into 9 there, and it was not a great start for Will Power. He got forced onto the grass a little bit there, had to lift. Is now Kevin Simpson side by side with Rossi coming off a 9, and Dixon already making moves.
Sweden's Marcus Ericsson has lost a couple of places right from the off. That's allowed Palou to make up 2 spots. Kirkwood's gone with him. The 2 drivers at the lead of the championship as Dixon goes to make another move, looking fighty from the outset.
Yeah, Dixon treating Mid-Ohio like a short oval right there, a clean racetrack. Now McLaughlin trying to make it 3 wide. We're on board thanks to PNC with Scott Dixon.
And that's wide in front from Grosjean through turn 1 there. It's such a fast corner, but in these early laps, cold tires, full fuel, lots of dirty air, easy to get it wrong. You saw Dixon.
Excellent exit from Rinus VeeKay in the green and white. Hunkel's holding a racing car. We'll have a look at David Malukas, but Malukas has enough to keep him at bay as Palou makes the move and gets past Christian Rasmussen.
That's Rossi now trying to get around. Is that Graham Rahal?
It is. Around the outside of the hill.
5, that's tough to do. Graham's going to open his hands up, he does, and now Kevin Simpson's trying to enter the conversation. Mick Schumacher now on his teammate, Louis Foster, not able to make it stick.
Mick Schumacher in that black and red car. This is his best road course qualifying ever in his rookie season. He's starting to find his feet.
He's lost 3 places from the start, though, has Mick Schumacher. His slightly more experienced teammate making the best odds of the first couple laps here.
And just keep an eye on the color of these Firestone tires. You see the black sidewalls at Graham Rahal, the red sidewalls on Rossi behind. Of course, the red is the soft. It's going to give you more grip, especially in these early laps. But later in the stint, they tend to fall off a little bit more. So if you're starting on those softs, you want to make hay while the sun shines. You want to get some of that track position early.
I'm liking the look of Kyle Collette up 1 place, the rookie, to 10th from his 11th place starting position. Also, Nolan Siegel right in the battle with Joseph Newgarden. And now Kirkwood gets past Rasmussen as well. He goes with Alex Palou 1 lap later, so Palou up to 6th. Kirkwood now 7th, Rasmussen drops to 8th.
He was the fastest car in first practice. Kirkwood wants to put this fast car into the front here early. So hard to make positions later on in the stint as the tires wear. Kirkwood again, like James said, on that soft compound. They are better in the beginning and then they wear faster. So you've got to make spots wherever you can with a chance.
So it's Lundgaard from onboard, the McLaren duo, no changes in position from the start. David Malukas hangs on to 3rd. Rinus VeeKay is fine. Sorry, David Malukas up to 3rd from his starting place of 4th. Rinus VeeKay up to 4th. Power drops to 5th. Palou and Kirkwood on the move from the start up to 6th and 7th. Rasmussen drops down to 8th. Ericsson drops down to 9th. And Collette is up to 10th.
Yeah, the rear of the car is not ideal. Okay, copy that. Use your tools to protect for it.
You heard that's from Christian Lundgaard. The car's not ideal. Use your tools. You got a couple things inside the cockpit of these IndyCars you can do to adjust the handling of the race car.
And here comes Kirkwood. Oh. Kirkwood on Palou around the outside in the braking zone. He'll have the inside line up the hill, almost wheel to wheel and touching. And Palou somehow hangs on. That is racy from Kyle Kirkwood, and you'd love to see it.
First and 3rd in the championship. This has implications beyond just the race today. Kirkwood desperately wants to get around the 10.
They're both on the soft red tire, and Palou did a really good job of leaving just enough room for Kyle Kirkwood to avoid any forced contact between the 2.
Fast and frantic in the opening laps. We're starting lap 5 here at Mid-Ohio, and Kirkwood is on the hunt.
And you see on the side of the pylon there, showing you which tires, obviously H for hard, S for soft. The top 3 with
Just be careful on the overtake usage.
with the softer compound or sorry, top 3 with the harder compound, able to hold back all the cars that started around them on the soft.
And it's another great exit from Kirkwood. Different line to Palou through turn 2.
But you heard Brian Herta, his strategist, say careful on the overtake usage. You get 200 seconds of push to pass or overtake, that little power boost to give you a little bit of extra oomph to make an overtake. Kirkwood has already burned 31 seconds.
Wow, that is a lot in just 5 laps. Here then a replay. Kirkwood late on the brakes, tries to go around the outside, which turns into the inside, and Palou just gives him enough room and has the racing space and the racing line.
Yeah, you watch on board here from Kyle Kirkwood, the Sam's Club car. Right here, Palou starts to turn in. I think Kirkwood thought, oh, is he going to close the door?
Home second after a McLaren pit stop blunder.
And Dixon, in order to make this early dumpster dive work on strategy, he needs that clean air. That's what did it for him last year on a 2-stopper, so Dixon will be desperate to try to get by.
VK has been in and out from the top 6. Louis Foster is in as well. We saw him battling with his teammate Mick Schumacher a few laps ago, so the running order is Lundgaard, no Ward, Malukas 3rd and Powell 4th, Palou 5th. By dint of the fact that Kyle Kirkwood has come in, then Ericsson, Rasmussen, Newgarden, Rosenqvist, Rahal, your top 10. As drivers exit out on track, and Dixon will want to clear them. Dixon does clear them, gets through and past Louis Foster, kicks up some dust as he does so.
Stingray Robb coming in there as well. I think Santino Ferrucci is that tail car, but you're right, this was a huge win for Rossi to get out in front of the 9 of Dixon, but this is absolutely worst case scenario for Scott. He wanted that clear racetrack as 2 more drivers going side by side. Kyle Collette on Nolan Siegel, who's just come out of the pits.
And Kyle Collette, the rookie from Brazil. I think we're calling him the Brazilian Bullet now. He is rapid, he is impressing everybody. He's put himself in contention for a top-line drive in 2027. So impressive has he been. So highly regarded is he now in this paddock.
And Nolan Siegel there looking to force his way through. But Kyle Collette doing a great job driving just wide enough to Siegel dare risk it through a very fast left-hander. Not quite.
And they've both stopped. Thank you, Kevin, because Will Power now has lost a place to Alex Palou, who is on a charge on the soft.
These are the 2 lead cars on soft tires right now, and had to give up a position. Let's see how it happened.
And Palou moves around the outside, under braking. That is a sublime move.
Power should pit right now and dump his new softs. He's satisfied the roll requirement. Clearly, this is going to be a black race, I'd say, on the early running. So why not? You're in the window. Why not to come to pit lane, finish on 3 sets of black tires?
And as we ride on board the TWG-AI machine, you can see a little bit of feathering on that left front tire. That's the one that takes the most punishment here at Mid-Ohio because of corners like this one, turn 4.
Look at his lap times falling off.
I'm with you. Yeah, almost a second a lap in the second of lap time in the last 3 laps. You see Ron Rzuski, the strategist, running through the options with his driver. I'd be shocked if they didn't pit now.
Only 3 drivers who started on the soft tire remain on the soft tire. Their names, Alex Palou,
Pit this time.
Will Power, and Scott McLaughlin. It won't be for much longer, though.
So will Palou do the same thing? Will he kind of anticipate that? No, we see him coming by pit in. There goes Power. Rasmussen stays out as well.
I wonder if Power, Power is on pit lane. I wonder where he'll come out relative to his teammate Kyle Kirkwood. Jack, they're coming to you.
He has actually already just hit his marks, Townsend. Soft tyre coming off, like you said. New hards going on. Bleed some lap time on the end of that stint. This is a damage limitation out lap.
I'll tell you what, though, guys. Clean stop from the 26 crew. Let's listen to some radio quick.
About to overtake this lap. Stay out, keep pushing. We looked at the lap time, keep pushing.
Okay, so they're doing the 1 extra lap for Alex Palou. That's Barry Wanzer talking to him, but I can see why they wanted to stay out, because once he got that clear racetrack, he was faster than race leader Christian Lundgaard on those worn softs.
Meanwhile,
this lap,
remember where Will Power started up there in 3rd. He's fallen behind Kyle Kirkwood, so by staying out on that soft tire, he's paid a big price. Palou getting the call to box now.
And that was evidenced by the statistics that James showed you. Lost almost a second in 2 laps. Now Palou pit.
What he's looking at is the people that Kyle Moyer on his stand, talking to Christian Lundgaard, comparing him to the teams that he thinks is doing a 2-stopper. Lundgaard is doing a 3 with maybe an option, a lot of caution later on. I think Lundgaard will come in by about lap 26 or so. One of those that I think is trying to do a 2-stopper is Joseph Newgarden. Maybe Christian Rasmussen 2 right in front of him. and Hinch and Townsend. Here's an advantage, this is a disadvantage. This is amazing what Newgarden is doing with pace, doing something he's never done in his life, braking with his right foot. But does that not help you save fuel a little bit more? It forces you to save fuel.
Well, it kind of forces you into a coast phase as you go from throttle to brake pedal with one foot. But I look to the car of Alex Palou. Like I said earlier, I believe the very best at managing tires. He
Way
well
in
ahead.
front. Way in front.
Well ahead.
Driver's right
Comes
side,
out alongside
Bring him.
Roman Grosjean, slots in between him and Marcus Armstrong behind.
And that was just VK coming into the top of your screen through turn 1 as he ride on board the Verizon machine, who's now going to be passed by Armstrong. Oh, he would have desperately loved to have kept ahead of him, but there's no way you're going to keep the MSR driver behind on hot tires.
But the reason that he's had to pit and come out in traffic is because the race leaders, Lundgaard, O'Ward, and what was David Malukas, are coming up on traffic. The last driver at the moment is Santino Ferrucci. They are inching ever closer towards them. Christian Lundgaard, you see him exit turn 1 there. Look to the left of your screen and you will see the blue, white and red car of Santino Ferrucci. There he is. He is catching him and a gaggle of cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them ahead.
But he is in the window now, lap 26. So this is the end of his fuel for this first stint. So I don't know if he's going to catch Ferrucci, but he will want to pit before he gets to that dirty air and slow down. Does Pato O'Ward think about stopping a lap earlier than his teammate and trying to undercut him? We're about to find out as McLaren 39 points within the championship leader with Christian Lundgaard.
If you're new to INDYCAR, you may be here from Formula One, where the teams have one set of strategists. Yet it's only 25 as Mick Schumacher defends from Santino Ferrucci, who looks to go around the outside.
Yeah,
but the experienced German shuts the door.
Fun little battle here at the back of the field. We ride on board. Thanks for Holmes for our truth. Santino Ferrucci. Stars and stripes on America's birthday. Ferrucci gets all kinds of sideways through Thunder Valley.
Santino Ferrucci, who is the subject of an all-new episode of All In. You can find it on the INDYCAR on Fox YouTube channel. Give it a view. Really interesting look at this young man from Woodbury, Connecticut, as Schumacher and Stingray Rob come into the pit lane together on lap 36.
And that little battle there was being led by Dennis Hauger.
But as the fuel gets lower and lower and the car gets lighter, Colette's speed increases and he's pulling in Joseph Newgarden, but the fuel is too light, too low. Locks up his brakes as he comes into pit lane. Rinus VK stopping, you saw picture in picture, and he will get out and get running. And again, is one of the early stoppers. Kyle Kirkwood is in the pits as well.
Great stop from the 27 crew, one of the fastest ones we've seen today so far, as these guys now have to race each other on this outlap. Cold tires, full fuel, racing a guy. That's a lot of fun, but so tough behind the wheel.
Another important stint for Rinus VK as he swerves to warm his hard Firestones there. He's got to keep up that impeccable pace, knowing that the leaders like Christian Lundgaard will have to, quote, suffer through that soft tire stint at onboard here coming up. And it's not that easy on the hard tire as Lundgaard almost loses it.
That is a huge catch from Lundgaard, and he is catching traffic ahead. Is now just half a second. Rossi, moments ago, gave up the 2 positions that you can see in the penalty box at the bottom of your screen for avoidable contact with Dixon. Had to let Ericsson through, had to let Dixon through, and has now fallen into the clutches of Christian Lundgaard. This the moment as we were going to break, which we saw a little move over onto the racing line from Alexander Rossi. Contact with what is now a damaged front wing for Scott Dixon, and the reason for the penalty. And this was given up.
Wow.
Oh, and now there's more.
Scott Dixon saying, man,
what have I got to do today?
shades of Graham Rahal and Will Power at the last race.
But look at Pato O'Ward in the top screen.
Yeah, I mean, Lundgaard's really lost a lot here in front.
And he's gone wide.
Way wide, and he'll have marbles all over his tires as O'Ward is ready to pounce.
And here he comes, shaping up his teammate on the long run down. Lundgaard will have the inside line. O'Ward is late on the brakes. Lundgaard goes to defend. They almost touch, and O'Ward tries to make it through, squeezes up on the inside. Lundgaard keeps it stuck in around the outside, but O'Ward has the lead.
No papaya rules in IndyCar. Those two are going hard at it, wheel to wheel, and O'Ward Award did exactly what he had to do, capitalizing on that mistake from Lundgaard, really forcing him wide in turn 5 there to take the point. Great move from Pato.
Palou Award putting the virtual shoulder on his teammate. That's a signal of who the team leader is. Palou Award saying, hey, you slip up just a little bit, I'm going to grab this lead and try to run away. I expect Lundgaard, if he gets a chance, will try to very much pay back Palou Award later on.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you had the 7 running in clean air for 37 laps, and once he caught up to the back of this field, he's got a completely different handling race car. You see it there, goes in right on the gearbox of Alex Rossi, losing all that front grip. And then actually a little bit of contact there. Pato returning the favor on the exit of 5. Perfectly executed.
On board with Lundgaard. There's that little bit of contact. Your one-time race leader, Christian Lundgaard, has taken the decision to pit before his teammate Pato O'Ward and to put on the soft tires. He's left pit lane narrowly ahead of Rinus VeeKay, who is in the mix, and now his teammate Pato O'Ward comes to the pits and to Georgia.
This is a switch up from the last pit stop. Remember, Lundgaard came in first, the first go around. Now Pato's second to come in. They're doing a front wing adjustment, and this is going to satisfy what he needs to do for his soft tire allotment. Kevin.
And Christian Lundgaard came in a lap earlier on the softs, and let's watch this blend right here. That'll tell us something, and it should be a short stint for Lundgaard. Only needs to do about 15 laps.
VeeKay is ahead of Malukas and up into the podium positions. Pato O'Ward is out ahead of his teammates. Lundgaard, though, has the heat in his tires. Could he make the move now? Needs the exit, has the exit.
James, they're on the soft tire. They're going to be magic for a few laps, but as the track temp continues to rise, that advantage is going to fade quickly.
Both drivers on the button. You see all that carbon dust, the brake dust coming out of the right front of Pato O'Ward as he woes up the 5, trying to keep his teammate behind him.
And the harder they race, the harder they abuse the soft tire. Both drivers will be thinking, let's work together here, but I don't think that's what's on call for today.
I don't think that's on the menu. And what Rinus VeeKay sitting behind wants to see is these two going at it. He wants to see Lundgaard take a lunge, get these drivers offline, out of their rhythm, and allow him to close up and maybe capitalize on a mistake.
And Lundgaard would love to have that lunge on Pato O'Ward as Pato muscled him off just a few laps before the last stop.
We sit on board with O'Ward, looking back to his teammate Christian Lundgaard. What a wonderful treat we have when we see two teammates fighting wheel to wheel for the win of an IndyCar race. Joseph Newgarden leads, the only driver who has not done a run on the soft tire. He must run the softs to fulfill the regulations, but it's O'Ward second, Lundgaard third. VeeKay is in the mix. Kirkwood has also managed to get himself ahead of David Malukas, who's trundled back to 6th place now, then Rasmussen, Palou, who really isn't in the mix today. Will Power, Nolan Siegel.
And check out push to pass between the teammates right there. 101 to 94. O'Ward still in slightly better shape.
40 laps remain. It's game on.
So how many laps do they try to do on these soft tires? We think with full fuel stint at full push, somewhere around that 27, maybe 28 lap mark. But you're not going to want to take these softs much deeper than what we saw Palou do, as we see Newgarden now. He's going to pit from the lead.
Come out probably just behind Nolan Siegel or Kyle Collette.
And Kyle Kirkwood, again, it's not just about the podium, it's about the victory for VeeKay, it's about the victory for Kirkwood, and the leaders are coming up to slow traffic. That slow traffic is Dennis Hauger. He's last, 25th place.
And as Pato O'Ward gets closer to Dennis Hauger, he's going to pick up turbulent air. That's going to put even more demand on the soft Firestone, which is already losing its edge. Rinus VeeKay will have a chance now to start to draw into Christian Lundgaard and potentially make a race-winning move.
Exactly right. I mean, if O'Ward doesn't have the grip to get around Hauger, that's going to allow Lundgaard to get a little bit closer. But then, of course, VeeKay, Kirkwood enters the conversation as well. And Malukas and Rasmussen not that far behind. They're 9 seconds back. You can see that at the moment, running close together. As we take another look, a lap ago, turn 2, your leader, Pato O'Ward. This is where Lundgaard made the mistake that allowed Pato to have the opportunity to make the pass and take the lead. And a little bit wide, not quite as wide as what we saw at a Lundgaard, but it just shows that that left front tire struggling to turn that number 5.
The McLaren's starting to find a little bit of pace in these tires. The problem with that, as you said, Townsend, they're now coming up to traffic. They're going to need to lap. Carl Kirkwood, though, is on a charge. Gained 3 seconds, lap 55, 2 in 56.
Played until he was 11 and had to make a choice between karting and soccer. But his dad, Cam, actually played professionally, just a step below the MLS. His brother, Robert, was a college player, really good player, who was going to go pro before an injury. So he's excited to watch Team USA, and he's excited about maybe getting his first road course podium.
And we're excited to see Pato O'Ward make the move on Dennis Hauger. That is huge news for Pato O'Ward and for his potential win of this race. Now Lundgaard needs to go with him. VK needs to get past as well. We are on lap 63, Townsend, when you expect the drivers to come in and stop.
I think Pato O'Ward needs to pit right now. If he can't get by Dennis Hauger, Lundgaard's going to be able to stretch it with the overcut. So I think this is Pato's chance.
I think you want to try to open the gap up. If Lundgaard's stuck back there and I'm O'Ward, I want to do at least one more quick lap, give myself an even bigger gap.
I'm sorry, my
VK almost into the back of him.
That's the move for all these guys.
Absolutely.
This could be the race-winning move for any one of these three, Jack.
Absolute battle down here on pit lane, Will. Final stop of the day for Rocket Rinus VK. Absolutely stellar performance by this young man. Full fuel down pit lane.
Brilliant stuff from JHR.
Christian Lundgaard not happy with the rears again. He comes in, goes to primaries, and he beats VK off pit road, and also Kyle Kirkwood.
But Kirkwood gets ahead of VK. So Lundgaard leads Kirkwood, leads VK out of pit road. Pato O'Ward now has to respond. Lundgaard got a great jump on those two in the pits, and VK has to try and stay ahead of Kevin Simpson.
Pato O'Ward has clean air, but he's got used reds. If he feels the car is okay, Pato O'Ward is going to stay out, and his last lap was
huge.
Quick. So Pato O'Ward might be in a really good situation. He can be the judge of when he pits.
Simpson going wheel to wheel with Rinus VK, who knows he needs to keep the position if he's going to have any chance of fighting for this win, or even now, because Kirkwood got ahead of him, the podium. O'Ward stays out, and O'Ward drops the lap time again. They were in the 1 minute 8s. Pato from somewhere found a 1:07.6, now a 1:07.4.
And that Pato pass on Dennis Hauger might actually be the move of the race to get past lap traffic and force Lundgaard, VK, and Kirkwood to box early.
Great chance that was the winning move for sure. This is absolutely playing into the hands of Pato O'Ward right now, as you see Kevin Simpson in the top peel off as well. And you can see how much of a gap Kirkwood's pulled on VK and how much Lundgaard has pulled ahead of Kirkwood, as we see the 19 of Hauger come back out now, still a lap down. But this is going to hurt VK as well.
Not good for Rinus VK. He's got to go big right here. Full send into the brake zone, get on push to pass, and try to get past Hauger, get him out of the way, and get back in the battle.
Hauger shouldn't put up too much of a fight here, knowing he's already a lap down, doing the right thing. Not making life too difficult here for Rinus VK. Both drivers on the button.
Power leads until now. Will Power now on pit lane to make his final stop. We think he'll blend out right in this battle. That'll be fascinating as the TWG driver comes to pit lane. The Andretti team, they get it done on the tire change, fuel removed. That was textbook perfect. Where does he blend out?
And you know what? You got to call it. We were hard on Andretti at the start of the season as to how bad their pit stops were. They have revolutionized their pit work this season. Out comes Power. There is Palou.
So Palou gets by. What about Rasmussen?
He's definitely going to want to have a pop.
Power's checking his mirrors.
Needs to. There he is. Looming large. The stars and stripes on that front wing.
Rasmussen only has 10 seconds to push the pass, and he's using it all right now.
Right underneath his rear wing, will have to go the long way around him. They almost make contact. Oh, Christian Rasmussen, that's divine.
And right now, O'Ward, 41 seconds remaining. Lundgaard, advantage him. He's got 69 seconds remaining. So both these drivers have a decent amount with just 16 laps to go. But you do have to be careful with when and how you use that 60 extra horsepower.
And with 16 to go, the gap that was 4 seconds has been halved to 2.
Got your gap up to 2 seconds on Kirkwood. It's the one in front I'm worried about.
Dennis Hauger had coming in here was about 30 points. Now, Dennis Hauger to Cal Collette would sit at about 16. So he cut that lead in half. Lots of racing left this season, James. So Cal Collette with a great chance for Rookie of the Year as we see this intense battle. Christian Rasmussen holding off David Malukas.
That has been able to happen because Will Power managed to barge his way through while we were in commercial break. So Power up to 6th, Rasmussen down to 7th. Malukas is 8th. The fastest man on track at the moment is Alex Palou, at least it was, until Carl Kirkwood suddenly picked up the pace and is now the fastest man on track. Lundgaard's fallen back a half a second. Oh no, sorry, he's gained a half a second. He's now within 1.3 of Pato O'Ward with 10 laps to go. Hinch, Townsend, I don't think we've seen the end of this just yet.
Not yet at all, and you've got to wonder how close is Pato O'Ward getting to traffic. We ride on board, and I believe that is the 47 of Mick Schumacher. He just did a 107.9. Pato O'Ward just did a 108.0. So that means Mick Schumacher.
Traffic here, Pato. Christian plus 2 seconds behind.
He ain't anymore.
Mick Schumacher is quick enough to cause all kinds of headaches for O'Ward.
I think that radio message might be a bit old. It wasn't 2 seconds. It's 1 1/4 seconds now as Lundgaard continues to pressure his teammate, just as O'Ward pressured Lundgaard in the earlier part of the race.
You saw no podiums for Pato O'Ward so far this season. No better way to write that record than with a win. 9 laps to go. Track's got to be close to 125 degrees right now. That'll make Pato O'Ward's job even tougher as he gets into the turbulent air of Mick Schumacher.
It'll be 8 to go over the line. When they left the pits after their final stops, the gap between Pato O'Ward and Christian Lundgaard, teammates at Arrow McLaren, was 4 seconds. It's now just over 1 second. And don't forget, Christian Lundgaard is staring at an exit from the team at which he was all but confirmed to be re-signing with. At Long Beach, Tony Kanaan, the team principal, said, we have to re-sign this guy. There's no way we can let him go. Fast forward 2 and a bit months, and it looks like Lundgaard is out. Dixon and Rosenqvist are in. And the informed man on road circuits coming into this weekend with a 2nd place and 2 wins, he'll either take a win or a 2nd place today unless something crazy happens, is on his way out, and quite incredibly.
No doubt, Will, that Christian Lundgaard's a top free agent, but you also have to look at some of the other names we've been talking about for big opportunities, namely Rinus VeeKay and Cal Collette. They are also having fantastic days today. So for teams that have vacancies for 2027, there's a lot to analyze here. There's a lot to like about drivers looking for a seat next year.
Yeah, a lot of drivers having a good day on a good day to have a good day, if that makes sense, just because of the contract situation. And another driver that's having a great day, Kyle Kirkwood, in podium contention after starting in 10th position. He's not run particularly well here in the IndyCar series in his career so far. 8th is his best finish at Mid-Ohio in the big cars. But if you go back to his junior Formula Car career, this guy has absolutely been stellar. He has won here quite a bit over the years in the junior categories. And the big thing for him is he has got to beat Alex Palou. I know Palou's managed to get his way up to 5th, but that's still vital points that he would take out of that lead. They're sitting at 56 right now. Here is a graphic of just how successful he's been here at Mid-Ohio. He absolutely loves this racetrack. And we've talked all season long about how much this driver's improved his performance on road courses. Kevin, he is happy hunting here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, he won all but one of his junior Formula starts here in just dominant fashion. And something else has been said a lot for Kyle Kirkwood, a driver with a lot of success. 6 wins. He doesn't have a road course podium yet. It's really just circumstance. Of his 57 career wins in the junior category, almost all of them were on road courses. It was just a matter of time, and that time might be today.
Might be today as it's 6 to go at the line for Kirkwood. Guys, we have not talked about physicality since the pre-race show. No yellows. They've gone 84 laps in the hot Ohio sun on a very humid day. Graham Rahal has the visor open because the sweat is so extreme as you see all the G-force of it. The corners driving his neck over on the straightways, guys. He's putting his head on the screen to try to direct fresh air into the helmet. Everybody going to be struggling to hang on. We're about to get out of the end of the turn two here. There's a long corner. Not that fast. He just look at the helmet here.
Is clear and we will go green. Thank you for joining us live on Fox for the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix.
Nashville race fans, are you ready? It's time for those most famous words in all of sports for this afternoon's Bourbon Music City Grand Prix presented by Only Bulls. Here's Scott Borchetta, CEO and founder of Big Machine Label Group and Borchetta Bourbon, to give the command.
Welcome to the 2026 Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix. On behalf of all of us at Big Machine Records, Big Machine Racing, Big Machine Distillery, it's time to pour yourself a drink. Borchetta Bourbon on the rocks neat or an old fashioned, but now it's time to get this party started. Drivers, start your engines!
Well, folks, welcome to the NTT INDYCAR Series Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix. I'm Will Buxton, alongside me, as always, James Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell. And it is hot today. Because of that, the race distance has been reduced from 300 to 225 laps. There it is, 91 degrees. Hinch, the last time we raced on a Monday was back in 2018, the delay from the Sunday race start in Barber. The last time we actually had a race officially start on a Monday, though, was back in 2016 at Pocono. You raced in both. What does this kind of a delay do to the drivers?
It's a tough thing mentally, because yesterday all the drivers were amped up to go racing in the evening. Then it was going to be a night race. Now we're re-racked in the heat of the day after another sleep. Setups change, approaches change, the race distance has changed. But at the end of the day, Will, once you get strapped into an IndyCar, engine on, visor down, you just got one thing you're worried about. It's going to the front.
What doesn't change, though, Townsend, is the track. And this is a tough one. 200-mile-an-hour average, and it can bite as we take a look at the starting grid at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, drivers coming from all over the world to here in Nashville, but it's the hometown, home country advantage. We have an all-American front row, Kirkwood and Newgarden, but the driver I'm watching today is Team Penske's David Malukas. A huge crash in practice on Saturday in turn 2, but then he recovered, came back from the hospital, and was quickest in practice. Let's take a look right where he is right now live. On Saturday, he found the wall, and his right knee catapulted back into the steering wheel, knocked it off. He had a bad bone bruise. We'll get an update on his condition in a bit, but Malukas was fast in final practice, and that Verizon number 12 is gonna be charging forward in a hurry.
That final practice, now 36 hours ago. We wondered if he'd wake up on Sunday morning feeling battered and bruised. He's had another 24 hours to recover. David Malukas starts from the back of the field in inarguably one of the fastest cars in the field. Can he take his first ever IndyCar Series victory today? You wouldn't bet against him. With more on Malukas, we go down to pit lane and to Kevin Lee.
And he spent most of Saturday in the hospital making sure that he was clear, but x-rays were all good. But he was still very sore yesterday, not just the knee, but really banged up. And oh, to be young. The 24-year-old from Chicago just told me, I'm 100% today, including the knee, ready to go for a run. And he is quick, fastest in the last practice on Saturday night. Malukas has a chance to win from last to Georgia Hannaberry.
Well, we might be a day late, but the intensity is high as ever down here on pit lane. I'm looking at the 6-time NTT IndyCar Series champion of Scott Dixon. There are only 2 active drivers in the field that have wins here at Nashville Super Speedway, Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon, and he's done it 3 times. I talked to him before he jumped to the car, and he told me the biggest thing for him is going to be using the tools inside of the car as this track wildly changes over the course of this 225-lap race. So I'm watching the Iceman, Scott Dixon. Jack Harvey.
Thanks, G. The World Cup has concluded. Congratulations to Spain. Some of the other fun stories were the underdogs and what they were able to achieve. If you're watching for the first time and you like those storylines, Rinus VeeKay and his Juncos Hollinger racing team might be the people that you want to cheer for. Consistently punching above their weight, starting 9th today.
Love that, guys. Thank you so much. As the 2026 Honda Civic Type R leads the field around, they stack up 2 by 2 as we get ready to roll to green. Bella White, the two-time Olympian, is in the pace car, but at the front of the field, Kyle Kirkwood, second in the championship, will lead us away. The field, though, a little too strung out to take the green, so we'll take another lap alongside him on that front row. Joseph Newgarden, who won this race 1 year ago. His teammate Scott McLaughlin starts third, and our championship leader and four-time champion Alex Palou starts fourth.
Yeah, you can see David Malukas was way too far back for that to be called green. The lap count will start, though.
Talk about green, James. This racetrack, a ton of rain last night. I couldn't believe the amount of rainfall that hit. That means the surface is perfectly clean. Tire degradation will be dramatic in this opening stint.
They look far more bunched together than they were this time 1 lap ago. I think we should be good to roll. We should be good to start. We should be good to race here in Nashville for the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix. McLaughlin, what a start, already past Newgarden and having a look at Kirkwood.
And how about Palou looking at all the way up top? He's drafting Newgarden now up into 3rd place. He's going to have a great run off it, too.
The guy going big is the yellow and black car. Will Power is Joseph Newgarden up front. Challenges his fellow American. It's Kirkwood and Newgarden side by side off turn 4.
Kirkwood twitchy on the low side. Newgarden tries to hang it around the top. And as we saw 1 year ago, that high line as they get incredibly close.
And you got to remember, guys, they have not been on the track in over 24 hours. And the last time they were, the conditions were very different. So you're learning, you're having to trust the racetrack and trust your race car as we ride on board the Estemo machine of Newgarden as he is hunting down Kyle Kirkwood.
The two leaders already starting to stretch away as Newgarden attempts to try to make the pass once again. They run side by side and wheel to wheel onto the back stretch and down towards 3. Newgarden trying to get clean air between himself and Kirkwood, but with the lower line, Kirkwood will maintain the advantage.
Meanwhile, that yellow car of Alex Palou, the championship leader, is just quietly enjoying the battle in front of him, happy to just chill for now. Newgarden, though, hometown kid, wants to own the lead early here.
Newgarden, of course, the most successful driver on ovals for the last little bit. He's won 11 of the last 24 IndyCar rounds on this type of racetrack. And we've talked about how what he's so good at is being there at the end. Townsend, he wants to be there right from the beginning today.
He also wants to get a really good feel for what this high line is going to work like as we are just in lap 6 here of early action. Now he might test to the low side. No, goes back to the high side.
Clear.
And maybe now he's going to settle in a bit as Palou just quietly lurks there in 3rd place.
Both of these guys doing us a massive favor at the moment, and further back through the field as Kirkwood runs the low line and beds that in and rubbers that in. And Joseph Newgarden does the same for the higher line. Drivers on the move since the start. Louis Foster is up 4 places. Santino Ferrucci is up 3. Marcus Armstrong, Mick Schumacher, and Roman Grosjean, they're all up 2 places. As behind the ECR of Rasmussen, and you can never discount Rasmussen. All over the back of Marcus Armstrong. Georgia, tell us about Santino.
Well, I can tell you, I talked to him right before he jumped to the AJ Foyt Racing number 14. Now, they were one of the teams that changed their tire designations as soon as they were able to when the race was shortened down from 300 to 225 laps. And he said that reason, he feels like if they put the softs on early, he's going to be able to utilize that high line like he usually does. That's a standard for Santino Ferrucci, and get around cars earlier in this race.
That said, he now has Rinus VeeKay to contend with. Look back from onboard with Ferrucci, and you can just see a little hint of VeeKay's JHR behind, but it's Kirkwood from Newgarden, Palou and McLaughlin, Rossi, Armstrong, Rasmussen, Ferrucci, and this was 3 wide. Will Power taking Marcus Ericsson around the outside. Ferrucci on the inside, and look how squirrely he gets.
Well, it wasn't just Will Power. Marcus Ericsson had a huge moment down low as Pato O'Ward takes advantage of both those Andretti teammates getting squirrely early. On board here with Will Power.
That is way high. Having to get out of it there to save it. Like you say, Ericsson on the inside had the same issue, and then you see to your right, there goes O'Ward briefly 4 wide along the front straight. Action early here in Nashville.
Foster now up 5 places from his race start position of 19th, sits in 14th.
Blend on board here with Christian Rasmussen. You notice the red sidewall Firestone. That's the softer compound of tire. You have 2 different ones. The softs are the red, the hards are the black sidewalls. You have to use 1 set of the hards and 2 sets of the softs at some point in this race. Rasmussen deciding to start on one of those soft sets, get that out of the way.
a good first sweeper. There's behind nine. There's behind nine. Got 3 out on track, FYI. Primaries behind, or alternates behind you, alternates in front of you. A lot of people took alternates. Copy that. The 3 cars stayed out, the 15, the 12, and the 7. McLaughlin and Palou beat us out there. We're both slow on outside rear, but all good. Nothing gas till we fall in the field there. One time, you guys stay behind you on all. Tell you It's insanely hot out here. Yeah, copy that. That moment. Rahal is usable with the Foster is usable later if you're struggling with Rahal also. Number. Another paddle pull for us. In front of us a little bit more excited, so it starts to follow them through and make it might be a bit. Our big restart code. Point. Okay. Drag. One. Roll. Green. Whatever you do. We're all play out back. Go on. Go off the bottom, roll the top, half back, go below, right corner. Grab, up with 3, boom, open. Up with 3, there, quick. I 1. I 2, but 4, 2, grab on the bottom here, 1, 2, there. Half back. Another 1, there's 6. Below is through, by 3. 4 to below. Split tire. withholding. 3. By 2, square break. So by 5, by 2 and 9. By 1, all run. 9, get there. Get you there. 9, by 1. Now by 2. Half lane higher all the way to 1 and 2. By 2 and hold. By 5. 2. Take 3, 1 and 2. The 3 and 4 and 3. He's trying to work the higher side, 3 and 4, fall down, hold on to back to 3 to 4. Everybody. into the field. He can't get around Ray Hall apparently. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about. Everybody on the bottom, 1 and 2. Alex and we're trying quarter length off the bottom, 3 and 4. Go. All the way over. Let us know if you have any What do you guys think? Good, 4. Everyone's sitting on the bottom boat, and the guys below goes trying for the higher arch to breathe and up in the platform. Final 3, 2, 1. Great. First one for 1 count. Leaders for 1. First one now, let's take 2 count. And back. 3, 2. Okay. on. How are you set up? Great. sure that it's Buxton. Launch forward. Launch plane. Ready? Let's go. All the way over, all the way over. Push. Line here. Yep. I was going to tell you too, it's like, you just got to keep going there, you know, there's so much danger zone. There's 10-4, a couple cars on the pit here, 10 was one of them. I'll try to get to the flat line here. No, I didn't get to the flat line in time. Oh, okay, so you gotta go to the back. Should be the leader here when everybody pits. Let me see if it updates. 1 second. That's alright, so he did. Did he think he could pit before the yellow? He must have, right? Dude. Yeah, confirm. Give me a that line. Yeah, alright, that's great. I had no idea where he was going. Oh, the fucking brakes. Oh. Engine's broken. All the way around. Your pits are still closed, so go ahead and pump up your brakes. That's the only car that got lucky. Right through the middle. We'll pit this time. We'll pit this time on the 4. We come around the 27 again. Here. Come around him. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Near mark. You'll be clear out here. Go. Watch right. Clear after him.
Prix, Palou, Borchetta, off, third, fourth, 2, up, out,
Circle into it. Yeah, they want a good race. Cars. The car behind also. Oh, it's being great. Yeah, it's drop. No, Low is our leader. You're all there with everyone. There comes. Got it, put that high. Go in. Speed. One. That's tight. Go in. Listen. Go to your run. Good 970 goes. the run. Take hold on. Back. Go there. Tight. 2. Take hold on. Tight. Tight. Go there. 1. Wing. Clear. Half north. By 1. Clear line. By 1. Holding. By 2 off mid. I think we did.
Alright, so we got a plan.
I swear we got him. Oh my god. onboard, but the stop. It's not all good. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I saw the 10 feet, but I know I missed him by a whisker. I don't know why I said whisker. Hey, pits are open. We're going to pit this time. So we'll have an open end. Stay right on the 10 here. We'll pit this time. Board. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, on the right. Up. That was upward, by the way, I didn't like it. Yep, good job, guys. Cars behind. Alternate. They have a left front. Sorry, oh yeah, there you go. Yep. Turn 4. Move. Start, go left. Pop it up. Program. Go here. I want to go. You go 12 for a little bit. We'll go red 1 on the back straight. While you're Jefferson, I'll be red 1 for the restart. job there. Thanks, I'll tell you, I got the track position. So, on our day, bud. Good finish there, Joseph. Yeah, fuck these guys. I got lucky all fucking day. All fucking day with their timing. I got fucking lucky. The rundown here is 10, 2, 12, 3, 16, 28, 5, 47. How many is? And left there, 16. I'll stop you in the fast lane there, Joseph.